So here we go as we move on to the bantamweight division. There you see your tail of the tape between Timur Valiev and Tito Jones. This one will be fast. It will be explosive. Both these men very evenly matched up. 2-inch advantage in height to Tito Jones and a 2-inch advantage also on the reach. But Valiev, one of the fighters that comes out of Dagestan, Russia, this kid has been almost video game-like. You talk to Ali Abdelaziz, the senior vice president of the World Series of Fighting. He is very high on Valiev.
Yeah, this guy's a promoter's dream. He's nonstop action. He can do it all. He's trained by one of the best cants in the world, with Greg Jackson and Coach Winklejohn out there in Albuquerque.
So we are set to go as Emily Miller gets us started here in Comerica Theater in Phoenix, Arizona. The bantamweight division, Timur Valiev and Tito Jones live here on NBCSN.
Let's fight!
Tito Jones making his debut here at the World Series of Fighting. Wow, what a way to welcome him to the organization. You put him up against Timur Valiev, and very unassuming young man, very quiet, soft-spoken, but inside the decagon, this kid is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's what every promoter wants. He comes out and he fights. In fact, the standing around process that we've seen right now, Todd, is more standing around than I've ever seen him do in his career. And just as I say that comes a spinning kick. He lands an old Tito Jones. Tito Jones used to train with Roy Jones Sr. in boxing. He's got very good hands, but he isn't quite as diverse as Timur. So this is going to be a matter of who can get off first, who can implement their skill set. But if Tito can watch those kicks, he's got very good hands with great combos.
Former Golden Gloves champion, as you talked about, training with Roy Jones. This is a whole different beast, though, with Timur Valiev. You're talking about an ultimate mixed martial artist, and that's exactly what Valiev is. He's a great striker. He's great on the ground. His jiu-jitsu is spot on.
He comes with that same back kick that he had success with a moment ago. This one misses, steps in wildly with a kick. Valiev having a hard time finding his range. Same goes for Tito Jones. One guy, Todd, at some point is going to have to step forward.
Yep. Tito Jones does bring a lot of speed, and he has that cage workmanship. He can handle the cage. He handles space so well, and excellent footwork.
Valiev.
Wow! Something we haven't seen as Valiev gets caught with a foot in the air, gets popped, and he says, let's go.
Yeah, he took that right on the nose. Good recovery. He is marching forward. It's not an act. He is fully recovered.
Smart Tito Jones. A lot of guys would just come rushing in saying, yeah, I'll come after that. Let your ego do the talking. And smartly backs down, lets things settle down just a little bit. Didn't see an opening.
Yeah, those knockdowns, you know, Todd, even those quick ones, the judges have to take note of that. That is a knockdown. That could be a big deal later. In with another side kick to the body. Valiev has just been a slight bit out of range. He's had a number of very good strikes here, but they just haven't touched their target. And largely that's because Tito Jones is not choosing to engage. Valiev's either going to have to back Tito all the way to the fence where he can stop this motion, or Tito's going to have to change trajectory, or we're not going to have a fight.
Tito Jones smartly just continuing to move out of the way of the kicks and punches. Now, it's worth noting that Timur Valiev lost his first professional fight, but since then, he has rattled off 9 straight to be at 9-1 here at the World Series of Fighting.
I love that. I love stories where guys stay persistent and stick after something. Valiev's being persistent right now. He's walking him down. He's just not walking him quite far enough. If he can back Tito all the way to the fence, he'll stop this motion, but backing him partway to the fence and then letting him off the hook hasn't gained him any ground.
In past fights, Valiev's fighters, his opponents have been willing to stand in front of him, and that is a huge mistake with this young man. He brings it at so many different levels. There you saw the spinning back fist.
Tito Jones has what we call in the fight game good eyes. He can see things coming. He can react to them early. I do feel, Todd, I feel Tito is missing an opportunity with some counter strikes here. He's not willing to be offensive, well then you must be defensive. There Valiev steps in, but he's not stepping all the way in. He's backed Tito all the way to the fence. If he can just back him another 12 inches, he'll have him pinned down.
You got to wonder if Valiev will be patient enough. You can see him coming forward. He's constantly the aggressor here. Tito Jones, though, has the explosiveness in those gloves, Chael, that he could catch him if Valiev leaves himself open if he gets too impatient.
Yeah, he absolutely does. Don't forget, he set him down just a few minutes ago. And right there's another opportunity for Tito to counterpunch. Valiev has him so close to the fence, but unless he pushes him into it, it's a non-issue. And there Tito Jones comes up. Now Tito's got an opportunity to back Valiev up, should he choose to, but no, Tito goes right back.
Well, those inside kicks are vicious, reminiscent of Jose Aldo. In the clinch, and a big knee coming by way of Tito Jones.
Excellent knee to the body.
So we will see a second round when we return to Phoenix. You're watching WSOF 23.
You know, Todd, that first round was very competitive, but one distinguishing point was the knockdown here. Now, I'll admit it was a flash knockdown, and Timur was right back up, but he did go down, and that will matter with the judges, at least somewhat, should we get to that point, as round two has just begun. A little bit more of the same. Timur still operating with his back dominating the cage, and his opponent, Tito Jones, about 12 inches off of the fence. There was a good trick kick by Timur, but it's just not quite landing. He's not finding his range, Todd.
Valiev knows one speed, and that is all out. Look at this. Comes forward, different combinations. It's always interesting to see his left hand. He doesn't paw at him, he circles. Ready to go again after the clinch break.
He is scoring points, if you will, with the judges. He is touching Tito Jones more than Tito's touching him. But he's just not quite able to find that range. I'm confused why he doesn't push him all the way into the fence or take a step back and tell Tito, come on. If we both move the way you're moving, we've got two guys running away from one another.
There you see Lance Palmer sitting with WSOF President Ray Sefo watching this fight very closely. Timur Valiev is one of the guys that so many people would like to pair him with. Marlon Moraes' name comes up as the champion of the bantamweight division for the World Series of Fighting, but a lot of folks said they're really close friends and they might not want to fight each other, but that is a fight that I think a lot of people would love to see. That's if Valiev can get past Tito Jones tonight here in Phoenix.
As far as contendership goes, there's no disputing that. As far as friendship goes and a likelihood, I don't know if we'll see that fight, but I fully agree that the rankings should go that way. Valiev again with the kick. He is scoring some points here, but he's not able to get off his typical combos, Todd, because Tito is just not engaging. And again, Tito Jones is only about 20 inches away from the cage, but Valiev is not pushing him into it. I don't know what the point of stalking your opponent is if you're not going to shove him into the fence.
No takedown attempts as of yet here with 2:30 to go here, the halfway point of the fight and the round. This one's scheduled for 3 in the bantamweight division. Timur Valiev in the black trunks with the red trim, and Tito Jones in the multicolored trunks with the orange and black.
Valiev is doing the best that he can. He is okay, here we go.
So now it gets to the ground, and we'll see how Tito Jones fares on his back.
Valiev's got to rack up some points here. I feel that he has been controlling this fight, but he was knocked down in the first round. And frankly, it's been very hard for him to get an engagement from Tito Jones. This is the one position of a fight, Todd, where you don't need your partner to agree to engage. He's stuck. Let's see if Valiev has enough energy here.
Wow, those elbows coming in viciously, but it's Valiev that is the one that is cut right now.
Whenever you get on top of a guy, you had to use a lot of energy to get there, and it can be very seductive to catch a few breaths. Valiev needs to be very disciplined and make sure he uses this opportunity to score. Tito's got what we call a closed guard, Todd, meaning his legs are touching, they're locked around each other. You've only got 2 submission opportunities from there, a guillotine choke, something known as a Kimura lock. Neither one does he have, so he's really using this as a very clear defensive position, hoping to just protect himself.
Valiev with wild swings as he postures up and rains down. Not making a lot of contact yet with Tito Jones, but staying very active.
Yeah, and Tito, for the most part, is succeeding at his goal here, which is protecting himself. He's not making any illusions of winning this part of the fight.
Stay out of the eyes.
But for the most part, he is surviving. He's only got roughly 20 seconds to get to the next round where he's going to be on his feet, which is largely where he's most comfortable.
Final 10 seconds of round number 2, and it looks like we are going to go to a 3rd and final round. We'll have that for you when we return to Phoenix on NBCSN. Back inside Comerica Theater here in Phoenix, Arizona. Todd Harris, Chael Sonnen, and Joey Varner on hand for World Series of Fighting 23. This is the 3rd and final round in the bantamweight division. Timur Valiev on the left side of your screen, taking on Tito Jones. And Chael Sonnen, put you on the spot here. How do you see this one scoring so far through 2?
Well, I really think Valiev has backed him up and that he's done the most aggression. I think he's the one trying to win the fight. I do have to keep in mind that he was knocked down in the 1st round. It is very possible that we are 1 round apiece and that whoever wins this next stanza is going to get their hand raised should this go to the judges.
Valiev coming out at the end of round number 2 with blood coming off his brow, and he looks right at one of the best cut men in business, Stitch Strand, and just says, I'm good.
Yeah, he's got no problem out there fighting. Now, Tito Jones is finally coming forward, and you're seeing the Valiev is able to get off a little bit more. He's able to touch him a little bit more. Tito Jones is going to have to throw some punches himself, though. He can't just be a counter fighter. He's going to have to take one of those arms of his, double up a fist, and move it in a forward direction at some point in this contest.
During the break, Tito Jones' corner telling him this is what you wanted, now let's back this guy down. Just what Chael Sonnen has pointed out, it has been Valiev who has been backing down Jones, so now it is time, according to the corner of Tito Jones, for him to do the backing down. There he is, the aforementioned Stitch Duran, working the corner of Timur Valiev. That guy's everywhere.
Stitch is everywhere. And as you say that, I'm watching Tito. I'm counting his punches in this round. He's thrown a total of 3. He's got to make a fist, Todd, and throw it in a forward direction towards the person standing across from him. And I don't know how to give a clearer analysis than that.
And it's hard not to fall in love with the work of Timur Valiev, as you said, as a promoter, as a fight fan, as an announcer, because he continues to push the pace. He is active. He is always coming forward. He's explosive. It may not always land. It may not always be sexy or big strike, but he is always coming forward, and a good combination there from Tito Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Tito has very good success when he attacks. He's just simply not attacking enough. Now we've got 2 guys standing in the middle, and they're trading. This is what we've been waiting for all fight long. Here we go. Valiev throwing wildly. A lot of power. Oh, there's a big double.
That caught Tito Jones off guard as Valiev just bull rushed him and threw him to the canvas.
Now Tito Jones can scoot himself back, get his back onto the fence, and attempt to get elevation with his head. He'll work his entire body back to his feet. If Valiev can turn him sideways and not allow Tito to get his back, specifically his back, onto the fence, he's going to hold this position. And right now, Valiev's winning this battle. Tito needs to try to scoot himself and get his back onto that cage, and then he can start to work for elevation.
You can hear both fighters absolutely gassed in this one, and they have good reason to be. They have gone hard for the first 2 rounds, and we are down now to the final 90 seconds of this one. The final round between Timur Valiev and Tito Jones.
Valiev's got a wrist. He's going to look to isolate that arm. Now here's the position Tito needs to get his back on the fence. Now he can start to use that fence almost as a partner and push himself to his feet. Oh, he was up and brought himself back down. Tito Jones brought himself back to the canvas. I'm not sure why. He was all the way to his feet. And Valiev is now really improved position. He's looking for the mount. He can clear Tito's hand off his knee. He'll have side control. There it is.
So Tito Jones, was just moments away from standing this fight up, and now he finds himself giving up side control to Timur Valiev, and just in a terrible position right now, not only because he has nothing to do here offensively, but he's under 30 seconds to go, and he needs something.
Yes, and I am very impressed that Valiev is continuing to work. He's very tired. It's been a very high-paced fight. He's got this round secured, and he's still continuing to improve his position. I believe that's why Ali Aziz is constantly saying, this guy's like a video game character. This guy's got a big future in front of him. I'm now seeing what I've been hearing.
And it will go to the judges after 3 rounds in the bantamweight division. Timur Valiev and Tito Jones go the distance. We'll have the official decision and talk to your winner when we return live on NBCSN. This is World Series of Fighting 23. Back inside Comerica Theater, we send it inside to Jazz Securo for our official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of professional fighting, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judges Chris Flores and Dennis O'Connell score at 30-27. Tom Gabauer scores at 29-28. All for your winner by unanimous decision, Timur Lucky Valiev.
So a unanimous decision goes the way of Timur Valiev, who runs his record to 10-1. The young man from Dagestan, Russia, only 1 speed all the way forward, but a great fight by Tito Jones as he goes the distance with Valiev in the bantamweight division.
Yeah, get ready. Listen. What you wanna do? If you don't strike first, that's when they gon' come at you. Yeah. And you know it's true. Don't let your life get worse. Being timid, that ain't cool. Nah.